Is it 11 o'clock at night? Yes, it is. Am I filming this vlog anyway because I didn't feel like doing my makeup again at another time? Yes, I am. Hey guys, what's up? It's Julie the Bibliophile, and I am here back after a very long absence to film a little Kingdom Keepers vlog. First of all, before we start, I want to apologize for the fan noise in the background and also for it blowing my hair all over the place. We are in the middle of an egregious heat wave here in New York, and I tried turning the fan off for 5 seconds and I almost died. I also tried turning the fan away from me for 5 seconds, so it was like cooling the room but not blowing on me and blowing my hair. Yeah, that didn't go over well either. Anyway, I noticed in looking at my past videos that probably the most popular video I have on this channel is the video discussing the third Kingdom Keepers series. Now, this was a huge surprise to me considering how small and almost dead the Kingdom Keepers fandom is right now. But apparently you guys like these things, and I have had some requests for more Kingdom Keepers videos on my social media pages, so I am going to go ahead today and voice some of my thoughts about the third series. Now, I talked about the third series when we first found out about it about 2 years ago now. Closing in on like 2.5 years, actually. I'll put the link to that video in the description. But in that video, I basically talked about the interview Ridley gave about the third Kingdom Keepers series, which is still the only information we have about it. So if you don't know anything yet about the third Kingdom Keepers series, you can go ahead and watch the video that I put in the description, or if you want the TLDR version. Basically, the third Kingdom Keepers series is going to be set 19 or 20 years in the future, about their kids. They all live in Epcot, which is now actually the experimental prototype community of tomorrow that Walt had originally planned. All the keepers live there, all their kids live there, and something happens. I don't know if it's Overtakers or somebody else, but the kids basically start going out and doing Kingdom Keeper stuff on their own, and now the keepers are faced with, like, do we help them? Do we get mad at them? They're us. Oh my god. Another big thing from the video, a point that I touched on outside of all of my excitement, is that in the interview there was kind of some words said and like wording of things that made it seem like perhaps Wilby and Sharbeck do not stay together in the third series, but we have literally not heard anything since that interview, like, except Ridley occasionally mentioning on Twitter when the release date is going to be, and that release date getting pushed further and further back. We have not heard anything. There has been no more new interviews, there has been no book cover, there hasn't even been a clear title. Is it Kingdom Kids? Is it First Light? I don't know, man. But at this point, I have worried about it a lot, been upset about it a lot. However, at this point, I am just deciding to trust Ridley, and say that I don't think he would break them up. I don't think it makes sense for a lot of reasons, like from an actual writing standpoint and like thinking about his fans, and the actual logistics of writing it. And also the fact that, like, if you analyze and look through the series, especially the return books, there are a lot of hints in there that suggest that they're moving towards being together forever, towards marriage, especially in Disney at Last. I mean, all throughout the return books, it's there, but it's, like, it's kind of obvious. But if it doesn't turn out that way, we're just gonna have to deal with it and imagine our own world where they do stay together, because I know, in my head, they're together forever. That is beside the point. That's just a quick summary of what we know so far about the books. Today, I wanted to talk specifically about my thoughts on the Kingdom Keeper kids, because in the past I had headcanons for the Keeper's kids that I had written fics about, but then once the news for this new series came out, I kind of started to imagine new versions of the kids, which I have now become very, very, very attached to, and it's a bit of a problem, because when the actual book comes out, there are actually going to be kids that Ridley wrote, and I am going to be attached to the children I created, and they're not going to exist, and so it's a problem. But here I am talking about it anyway. So in today's video, what I wanted to do was go over for you what I think about the Kingdom Keepers kids, what I've imagined for their kids, which is kind of similar to what I think their kids would actually be like, looking at the series and my predictions. And then at the end of the video, I also want to talk a little bit about my actual predictions for what these kids are going to be like. And that's going to be a little bit silly, a little bit fun. I might do a video a little bit further down the line, or later on, where I talk about real serious predictions. Like, what do I think is going to go down in this series based on the minimal information that we have and what we know about the Keepers in the past. So, without further ado, let me go over the children that I think the Keepers have, or the ones that I've imagined and have in all my Sims games and fanfictions and everything like that. So I'm actually going to start with the Maybeck children that I have imagined, because the oldest of the Keeper children that I have in my little imaginings is Maybeck and Charlene's oldest daughter, and that is Donna Maybeck. Now, I have imagined Donna Maybeck to be just like her mother. She's a dancer on dance competition teams. She's like the oldest of the Keeper kids, so she's probably like a little bit of a big sister to them. I'm imagining her at about 16 the time the series starts. I just think she's a dancer. That's what I got for her. But just like her mom. Like, her and Charlene are absolutely best friends. I can imagine that being a very close-knit family, though. I do imagine her being on a dance competition team at the studio that Charlene owns, because that's another one of my headcanons, which is for another video, that Charlene grows up to own her own dance studio, but that's not for this video. So the next Maybeck child that I have imagined is Christopher Maybeck, who goes by Chris. I have imagined him to be in about the 8th grade when the series starts, so about 13, and I've imagined Chris to be basically a Maybeck carbon copy. You know, he loves pottery and all artwork, but pottery especially. He's just got a big heart like his mother, and let's be real, like his father too. He looks just like Maybeck, but he's just like a softie, a sweetheart, and so into art, and just like take the sweetest and softest and purest sides of Charlene and Maybeck, mash them together, and you've got Chris. Next, I'm going to move on to the Philby children, because the second oldest child that I have imagined for the Keepers is the eldest Philby child, and that is Amelia Philby, who goes by Amy. I have imagined Amy to be in the 9th grade when the series starts, so about 14. And I have pegged Amy as a bookworm. I really imagine her to be a Willa Carbon copy, like curly, messy brown hair, bookworm, a little bit of an introvert, but also at the same time, I just think she is absolutely a daddy's girl. Like, daddy's little girl, textbook definition of it. She has Philby wrapped around her little finger, and she is so close to him. I picture her wearing, like, sweaters and skirts and Converse. Ugh. And like that she is really close with Donna, looks up to Donna the most out of all of them, and just, yes, bookworm. She loves Belle, probably also a singer. I don't know, she's a singer in my Sims game, and yes, I mean, I love her. She might be the one that I love the most out of all these kids that I've imagined. She's just such a sweetheart. I picture it. So the next Philby child that I've imagined is Jacob Philby, who goes by Jay. I've imagined him to be in about the 7th grade when the series starts, so about 12 years old. Jay is a Philby carbon copy in my eyes. He looks like Philby, he acts like Philby, he is just his father. He is absolutely 110% his father. He loves technology and computers, and learning, and just like, it's just Philby. It's just Philby, but like cloned, like redone, and now his name is Jay. Except he has 2 sisters, and yeah. Speaking of which, the 3rd Philby child that I have imagined is the youngest, Ariel Philby. Ariel is one of 2 Keeper kids that are the youngest Keeper kids, along with another child who I will get to later. But basically, I have imagined Ariel to be a rebel. Like her namesake, Ariel, she is a huge rebel at heart, but because she is a Philby, she has also got that nerdy side to her that loves learning, and I think Ariel's special area of interest is galaxies and space. She owns so much clothing that has galaxies on it, and she loves learning about space. She probably wants to be an astronomer when she grows up. She just loves science in general, but like the textbook science, not like the technological science like her father. She just bright red hair like Philby. I love this idea for her. She is another one of my favorites, and because I didn't mention it before, I have imagined her to be about 9 years old when the series starts in the 4th grade. So I've gone through the Maybecks and the Philbys, and the next Keeper kids that I'm going to touch on are the Whitmans. Now, I don't think I did this on purpose. I feel like I was imagining Whitman kids, and then somehow I looked at it all, and suddenly Finn Whitman had 4 daughters. So I have imagined Finn and Amanda to have 4 children, all girls. And honestly, this is one of my favorite things that I have in the headcanons because, like, can you imagine Finn Whitman with 4 daughters? With 4 daughters! I mean, like, classic dad with a shotgun. I can't even. But the oldest of the Whitman children I have is Emma Whitman. And I have imagined her as a musical prodigy. She's in her school's orchestra. I think she wears, like, tea dresses, like, fancy, like, 50s kind of style swing dresses, but, like, with the high neckline, like the tea dress. Wears her hair in high ponytails with little bows in them, tiny necklaces. She's just, like, this prim and proper orchestra girl, and she loves music. And I also say that a lot of the Keepers and the Keeper kids tease that, like, she's actually a Philby, because she's such a prodigy. But, oh my god, she's just, I love Emma. She's my sweetheart. So speaking of Emma and the fact that she has a special interest of orchestra, when I thought about the Maybecks, I kind of, like, you know, gave them each their parents' interests, and when I thought about the Philbys, they all kind of had, like, some nerdy special interest, some area of learning that they loved the most. With the Whitmans, I have kind of imagined this, like, diverse group of girls who just each love something different. They each have this specialty, and they're all very, very different from each other, but they're also such a close-knit family at the same time while being so different. So with that being said, the next Whitman kids that I have are the twins. I have Samantha, who goes by Sam, and Alexa, who goes by Alex, and I have said that they are twins. They are with Jay in the 7th grade, about 12 years old. Samantha is a soccer player, and Alex is a cheerleader. So what I have for Sam and Alex is that they are absolutely, like, polar opposites in terms of their interests. I mean, they're both jocks, but kind of on opposite ends of that spectrum. That Sam is very much a tomboy, soccer player, sporty girl. Alex is sporty, but also your traditional girly girl, and she's a cheerleader. But at the same time, while being polar opposites, they are inseparable. I mean, they're twins, they're best friends. They, like, never go anywhere without each other. I have mood boards of this. It's ridiculous, but I love the Whitman twins as one of my imaginings, too. So the final Whitman child that I have is Melissa Whitman, who goes by Missy. She is about 9 years old, like Ariel Philby, in the 4th grade, and I think she is just an absolute top-of-the-charts girly girl fashionista. Like, there are feather boas and costume jewelry in her room. Everything is pink and glitter, and she actually, like, grows up to want to become, like, a stylist, to go to school for fashion. Even though I imagined, like, the Keepers at these younger ages, like, so some of them are 9, some of them are 12, when I thought about their special interests and personalities, I kind of thought of them, what they would be like once they've already reached, like, 16 to 18, but this is, like, them as children. So Missy, just, like, jumping on the bed to music to bubblegum pop. She's my sweetheart. And then finally I have Jess's child, Natalie, who goes by Nat. And Natalie is also in the 7th grade with Chris and Emma, and she is a photographer. Now, here's the thing about Nat, like, I don't know who Jess is gonna be with. I have no frame of reference to know who this girl is gonna marry, who Nat's other parent is going to be. So I kind of just based her off of Jess. In a lot of my headcanons, I've written her as a superstar single mom, but I also want, like, happiness for Jess. I do. I don't want her to get, like, left. So, like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if she's gonna marry Tim. I don't know if she's gonna marry Maddie. I don't know if she's gonna marry some unspecified third party. I mean, I could see it going so many ways with Jess. I see the potential for so many ships with Jess. Like, I ship Jess and Maddie. I like Jess and Tim. If Dillard had not come back as 14 when he came back, I would definitely see the potential for Jess and Dillard. Like, that could be epic. But, you know, once they're both adults, maybe it could work. But for now, Natalie Lockhart is just based off of Jess, thinking of Jess as a single mom. So Nat is a photographer and artist. She loves rainbows, dip dyeing her hair, flowers, pressed flowers, denim jackets with patches on them, and she loves her friends, too. Smiley faces. She's just, like, total, like, aesthetic, right? I've also imagined that her and Jess are absolutely best friends. Like, this is like a Gilmore Girls single mom kind of situation. Like, they are so tight-knit. Some other things that I want to note in talking about these keeper kids, some things that I've imagined. First of all, I have imagined that Ariel Philby and Missy Whitman, the youngest, are completely and totally best friends and partners in crime. Like, they are probably the closest best friends out of the whole group. And so, like, they are always together. And I imagine that were they the ones in the story that Ridley is writing, they would kind of be trying to sneak out to work with their older siblings and cousins all the time. And I think obviously they wouldn't get involved because they're 9 years old, but I could just imagine them like sneaking out and wanting to help, and probably being the reason that these kids get caught. I have also imagined a best friend trio of Emma Whitman, Chris Maybeck, and Nat Lockhart. I imagine these three are like best friend trio. So I imagine that these three are like the trifecta of best friends, have been since they were little. There's probably a ship in there somewhere. I don't know what it is. I didn't take it that far. It's either Emma and Chris or Nat and Chris, I think. I don't know. They might be too much like cousins for that to work. So now that we're at the end of the video and I've been through my imaginings for the kids, I just want to talk about some headcanons or some thoughts that I have. I'll do a full predictions video later on. But like, actually thinking about what these kids are going to be like outside of these designs that I have made for them. Whew. I don't know. Okay, number one thing here. I don't know what Finn and Amanda are going to name their children, but I know it's going to be stupid. Like we're talking Albus Severus stupid here, people, okay? This is Finn Whitman. Oh, he's a dumbass, but he's our dumbass. Basically, I do, honest to God, have a prediction that Finn and Amanda's kid or kids are going to have one or more of the following names. Wayne. Something that can be shortened to Mickey, so Michaela, Michelle, Michael, something that they can call their child Mickey. Or, and my absolute favorite, Walt Whitman. I will put money on the fact that Finn will name his child Walt Whitman. I will put money on it. I mean, I could definitely see them naming their kid after Wayne. I don't know if they'd be stupid enough to do Walt Whitman, but I could see Finn wanting to do Walt. Maybe they'd go for, like, Elias. It's kind of weird, but okay. Dude. Can you imagine Walt Whitman? I could see Walt Wayne Whitman, Wayne Walt Whitman. I really, anything is possible. Michaela Whitman, who goes by Mickey, Mikey Whitman, Minnie, I don't know. It's gonna be stupid. I don't really have any thoughts about what the other Keepers kids might be like outside of what I've already imagined. Like, no specifics. Like, I don't have any real predictions for what these kids are gonna be like. I have my imaginings, which are kind of based off of predictions, also based off of, like, wants from me and headcanons. But, like, predictions outside of Finn and Amanda naming their kids very stupidly? I don't know, man. I know Willa and Philby would probably have nerd children, and I can't wait to see them. I feel like maybe... I've always had a headcanon that they would name a child Ariel, but I don't think that would actually happen. I don't know. I really don't know. It's up in the air. And I think we could see a lot of namesakes happening. I hope these kids are best friends. I don't see any world where they wouldn't be best friends. I mean, Ridley, that interview was so vague, right? Because he said they're not the same people in that they're grown up now. And he's like, they're not necessarily all living in the same place, which when compared with the last thing, kind of suggests that maybe they're not all best friends anymore. But at the same time, I don't see that happening, A, because of what Ridley has written in Disney at Last, and he spent so much time in Disney at Last focusing on this theme of, you know, we're always gonna have each other. And in fact, that was kind of the theme of the Return series in general, of them realizing that they were like a forever kind of friendship kind of deal. I do think that a lot of what happens in the Return was meant to set up this third series in terms of character development, because I think looking at the whole series now, now that I know this series is coming, it makes a lot of sense. There is so much stuff in there relating to them as adults, because they're in this transition stage of becoming adults, not really knowing where they're gonna be, or how they're gonna end up, or what their place in each other's lives is gonna be, or who to be. And that's a very real feeling when you're graduating high school and going to college. As you're evolving through college, I can speak to that being a very real feeling. There's a lot of that in The Syndrome, with Mr. Whitman telling Amanda they're probably not gonna be friends anymore, and Amanda telling him off and saying like, hey, you don't know what we mean to each other, like, this is forever. And then, you know, you have in Disneyland's, you have this whole idea of the others being ready to move on and saying that Finn isn't ready to move on. And then the whole train kind of gets started from there, because then as they go back in time and have all these different things happen in 1955, they slowly realize that, hey, you know, we're not ever going to move on from each other. No matter where life takes us, we're going to have each other. There's the whole idea of Charlene and Maybeck having the conflict of, you know, where do we stand? But then by the end of Disney at Last, they are kind of solid. Same kind of thing with Willa and Philby, where it wasn't, I mean, Willa talks about in Disneyland's about worrying about leaving them for college and worrying about leaving Philby for college, which is another element of it. But then there's also the part in Disney at Last where, you know, they don't know if they're going to remember each other when they get back from 1955, so Willa says they should stay, and, like, squeezes Philby's hand and says to him, like, let's stay, which is, to date, my favorite Wilby moment ever. So, like, Willa and Philby are solid, okay? This is probably a whole other video, and I'm getting off track here, but I do feel like the whole point of the Return series, and I mean not the whole point, but a large part of the Return series, a central theme of it, was this idea of them realizing that they are forever. And that's especially the last chapter. And when they were leaving 1955, I mean, that's what it was all about. That's what all their character arcs were based on in that series. And so I do think they will all still be friends. And I don't think, like, I could see where distance might separate them, but I don't think that they would all be living in Epcot, which we have confirmed they are, and then not be friends, because they would all be at least in the same vicinity, in the same neighborhood, or the same, like, city-state, even if they're in different neighborhoods. I don't know how to think about this Epcot thing. Finn and Amanda definitely married, and you know, and, like, yeah, there's that whole conversation between Finn and Amanda in Disney at Last, too, about, like, you know, like, you're my fairy tale ending, like, this is a beginning, okay? See what I mean? Like, central theme of the series here. So that got off topic. I do really, like, looking at the series, analyzing everything, I do really think that we're gonna be fine. If we could get more information about the series, that would be great. I mean, a lot of you have commented on my last video about this series, asking me, like, what information do we have? Is this still happening? And right now, the only information we have is that it's still happening. Every few months, someone will ask Ridley on Twitter, is it still happening? And he'll be like, yep, Kingdom Kids coming 2020. Or someone will be like, oh, hey, you know, I love the Kingdom Keepers books. Is there anything else planned? And he's like, yep, Kingdom Kids, March 2020. But, huh? I mean, we are now almost in August of 2019. We still don't have a cover or a plot. I'm kind of scared to ask. That's the other thing. I could ask Ridley on Twitter, like, are these couples still together? But I'm kind of afraid of the answer, I guess. I don't know, man. That's all I got for you. So, the final thing I want to talk about is the rebranding of my channel. I am trying to get started back up here on my booktube. This channel had evolved very heavily into a channel about the librarians, for a while, for like 2 years. And then when the librarians ended, I kind of just, like, stopped vlogging. But what I want to make this channel into now, even though it's Julie the Bibliophile, is to I want this channel to kind of be the place where I talk about all things nerdy. And I kind of want that to be my brand. So in the future, what you would expect to see on this channel would obviously be talking about books, but also talking about, you know, whatever TV show I'm watching, whatever show I just went to go see in the city, any video game I'm playing, any topics about, like, anything in the realm of nerdy or fiction, I'm gonna talk about it here. Maybe reviews of movies, of video games, and so I think that could be really fun, and I want to do it. And then most Disney-related things, other than Kingdom Keepers, because Kingdom Keepers are books, most Disney-related things will be on my Disney channel at My Life as a Disney Addict, which I will link in the description. So, that's it for today. If you want to see more Kingdom Keepers related stuff, you can check out my playlist, link in the description, or you can head over to Children of Light, where I roleplay Willa, and you can kind of see my idea for what Willa is like. You can also follow me on Tumblr, Twitter, and Instagram, and Goodreads if you so please. All links are in the description. In the description, I will also link my special Kingdom Keepers Instagram, where I post Kingdom Keepers memes, mostly about Finn being mean to Philby. And in addition, one more self-plug, if you want to hear more of my thoughts, I guess, on this topic of the Keepers being a family and being together forever and that kind of deal, you can check out my fanfiction, Once Upon a Dream, which deals with what would happen if they did forget each other when they came back from 1955 and they kind of ended up on this alternate timeline where they were never Kingdom Keepers. What do their lives look like, and what does it look like when they finally meet? That is on Archive of Our Own, fanfiction.net, and Wattpad. I will link all three in the description so that you can find it wherever you prefer to read fanfiction. So, until next time, thanks for watching, stay magical, and I love ya. Bye! Anyway, I noticed in looking at my channel and my process, I am gonna go ahead and Epcot is now the actual experiment, but TLDR, but for the TLDR version, God, or if you want the TLDR version, the Kingdom Keep, I cannot do this, and that, I suck at this, and then the next, so I've gone through the Maybecks and the